Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shemi Shah, double honor to the apostles of GMS. I'm Nawa'ala coming at you with the video. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video. I might title it An Attentive Ear, I'm not sure. But I'm going to start off from the book of Sirach, chapter 3, verse 29. The scripture says, "The heart of the prudent will understand the parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man." So an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man. Okay? An attentive ear. An attentive ear is an ear that pays attention, that takes notice. An individual that's swift to listen. That's an attentive ear. Alright? And that attentive ear, see, I got Sirach 3:9 up here, but I'm reading it out of the apocrypha I got in my hand. So you know what, let me read that again so you brothers can see it. Sirach 3:29. "The heart of the prudent will understand the parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man." So a wise man that desires an attentive ear, because this man is wise. An individual that's wise is the person that's giving you knowledge, giving you wisdom, giving you understanding. And if they're giving you wisdom, knowledge, understanding, then the type of individual they desire is an individual with an attentive ear. Someone that will be willing to listen to those wise words being spoken. It's nothing worse than when a person is giving an individual wisdom and they aren't paying any attention to it. You know? Well, there are things worse than that, but you know what I mean. Sirach 4:7. It says, "Give thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man." So get thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man. That was the point I wanted to get to bow your head to a great man. When the individual bows their head, it's like a symbol of submissiveness. But when you're bowing your head to a great man, which this is referenced in the previous scripture, when you're bowing your head to a great man, a person that's wise, you're listening to what it is that they're saying in submissiveness. You aren't rebelling against what it is that they're saying, but you have an attentive ear and you're hearkening unto the words that's being spoken. Once again, I read it out of the pocket from my hand, and I forgot to switch it over. Salakia. So I'll read that again. Sirach 4:7. "Give thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man." So the next scripture is going to be Sirach, the 5th chapter. Sirach chapter 5, verse 11. And it says, "Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer." So you have to be swift to hear. You have to be swift to hear words that's being spoken. Sound doctrine, which the word sound means healthy. Like if a person's of a sound mind, a person is of a healthy mind. If a person is safe and sound, that person is safe, being free from danger, yet they're also sound and healthy. A person could have, for example, if a person is being attacked by an individual and then they run into their home and lock the door, they're safe now. But are they sound? That person may still have injuries. Just giving an example. So when it says, "Be swift to hear," and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. Spur just had me forget where I was going with that. But it said, "Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer." So you got to be quick to hear. I must be thinking of the word. I must be thinking of what I was speaking about earlier. I forgot where I was going when I said this, the safe and the sound thing. I forgot exactly where it was I was going with that. Just escaped my mind. But I'll continue on. Read again. "Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere. Be truthful, and with patience give answer." So you gotta be quick to hear, man. Oh yeah, sound doctrine, healthy doctrine. That's how I was getting at. Swift to hear, sound doctrine, healthy doctrine. Food for thought. Okay. Next scripture, Sirach chapter 6, verse 32. Scripture says, "My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent." So if you will, thou shalt be taught. But that's if you're willing to be taught. But some people are willing to be taught. Okay? Some people don't want to learn, they want to be ignorant, where ignorant means to lack knowledge. "My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent." So if you apply your mind, then you'll be prudent, you'll be wise. You have knowledge, you have understanding. But you have to apply your mind. Okay? Meaning you have to apply your focus. And in this sense, it's talking about applying your mind, applying your focus, applying your heart unto these scriptures. You can't just have a Bible and have the Bible laying there and not be reading the Bible. You got to apply your mind. You got to work at it. This is something you got to work at. And you work at it by what? Prayer, fasting. You work at it through prayer, through fasting, continually reading the scriptures. Okay? If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. So if you love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if you bow thy ear, thou shalt be wise. Alright? So if you're the kind of person who loves to hear, who loves to listen, then you're going to receive understanding. That's what the scripture tells you. You gotta be slow to speak, but you gotta be swift to hear. A person that's quick to speak is an individual that's slow to hear, because you're speaking more than you're listening. If you're speaking more than you're listening, how could you gain knowledge? Alright? If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. If thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So you got to stand in the multitude of the elders. What's the word understanding means? To stand in the midst of. You're in the midst of something. So if you're standing in the multitude of the elders, you're in the midst of the elders. You're understanding what's being spoken because you're in the midst of them. Whether you're watching the lesson or whether you're physically among them. And cleave unto him that is wise. Right, you got to cleave unto an individual that's wise. Because through cleaving unto an individual that's wise, that's what? Scripture tell you in the book of Psalms, mark ye the perfect man. So cleaving unto him that is wise is marking that perfect man. Marking that wise man. This is the guy I gotta get with. I gotta get with this guy because he got knowledge. And that way you'll gain the knowledge. You could then teach others. Be willing to hear every godly discourse and let not the parables of understanding escape you. So you gotta be willing to hear every godly discourse. Any wise words being spoken, any wise discourse that's occurring, you gotta be willing to hear it. And let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So guess what that means? If you're not letting the parables of understanding escape you, you got to continually stay at the scriptures. Continually stay at it. In the book of Psalms, the first chapter, speak about being like a tree planted near the waters. A tree that's planted near the waters is going to flourish because the water is going to get a tree nourishment. Okay? And let not the parables of understanding escape you. So you got to keep studying these scriptures so the word is like etched inside your mind, till it's engraved inside your spirit. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee besides unto him. So if you see a man of understanding, get thee besides unto him. Get unto this guy, get close to this dude, this individual, this man, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let your foot wear the steps of his door. So if you see a person of understanding and your foot wear the steps of his door, it's like you go into that individual's dwelling place. You're constantly among the guy, constantly among that individual, gaining knowledge. Okay? It says, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually his commandments. So your eyes gotta be upon the ordinances of the Lord's statutes and commandments. And meditate continually in his commandments. Meaning meditate is like to think deeply. So you gotta think deeply upon these scriptures. So much to the point when you read these scriptures, it becomes like natural into like second nature. When you go into the supermarket, when you about to grab a box of something to eat or drink, it's your spirit, you just go right to the ingredients because you know there's a dietary law in the scriptures. And you don't want to go off. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. So if you do all of those things, the Most High is going to establish your mind and he's going to give you wisdom at your own desire. Okay? Let's get the next scripture. Sirach 7. Bear me 1 second. Sirach 7 and 14. It says, use not many words in a multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest. So, use not much words in a multitude of elders. So when you're in a multitude of elders, you don't speak too much. You let them do the speaking because they're the elders. They're the aged men. They're the hoary head. Hoary head is like gray hair. They're the ones that have wisdom. So you allow them to do the speaking, and you bow down the ear. You listen to them. And make not much babbling when thou prayest, right? Make not much babbling when thou prayest. So when you pray, you don't pray for insignificant things. You don't pray for vain things. You don't pray for those type of things. You pray for spiritual things. You don't pray for a pair of sneakers. You know, and stuff like that. That's vain things. You pray for spiritual things. Everything starts with the spirit. If the Most High grants you spiritual gifts, everything else is going to follow. This is Sirach 8:8. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. So don't despise the discourse of individuals that are wise. You don't despise that discourse. You're supposed to be among every godly discourse, like we mentioned earlier, right? But acquaint thyself. An acquaintance is somebody that's familiar. So it says, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs, meaning be familiar with their proverbs, with those words that's being spoken. But a proverb is like a short saying, a short, pithy saying. That's why when we read the book of Proverbs, the verses are very short. So it says, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs, but meaning be familiar with the words that they speak, with the wise words that's being spoken. For of them thou shalt learn instruction, see, of wise men, wise individuals, wise men. For of them thou shalt learn instruction and how to serve great men with ease. And last scripture, this is Sirach 9:14. It says, as near as thou canst, guess at thy neighbor and consult with the wise. So you gotta do this. You gotta word guess. You gotta guess like guess jeans. Come on, man. All right. See if I can find something here. Or guess at thy neighbor, or ask thy neighbor. Because if you're guessing something, you're asking something. So it says, as near as thou canst, guess at thy neighbor and consult with the wise. So ask your neighbor certain things pertaining to wisdom and consult with those that are wise. Let thy talk be with the wise and all thy communication in the Lord and Most High. So your talk got to be with those that are wise, and your communication got to be in the Lord and Most High. So you got to continually meditate upon these scriptures, as mentioned in the book of Psalms, the 1st chapter. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm going to say, all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honor to the Apostle GMS. I hope you both learned something. Shalom.